Welcome to the Trucking Through Life podcast, where truckers Tom and Michelle discuss angels, spirit, and soul subjects in a down-to-earth manner while providing practical applications for the everyday person. Hello, everybody. It's Michelle.
And I'm Tom.
And welcome to another angry episode of...
You know what makes me mad? You know what burns my ass?
What?
A flame about 3 foot tall.
Oh, Tom. Angry episode today. You know, everyone right now is angry. They're all mad. They're all pissed off. Everyone's aggravated, short fuses, and with good reason. It's been 18 months of a whole new lifestyle for, different lifestyle for the whole world, not just one person. I mean, when people at Disney on the 50th anniversary, on the day they open, and they start fist fighting over a souvenir, you know the world's been a little stressed. So today I'm going to talk about anger as your emotional teacher. Did you know that anger can be your teacher? Did you know that, Tom? So I'm going to use an example. 2 examples. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about last night.
The bitch in the box got her last night.
Okay, so normally when I start driving, I check the GPS just to make sure I familiarize myself with the route, because Tom, he knows the routes because he's been driving them forever. He's like, just do this and that. The GPS is already set for it. I'm like, okay, good. No problem. But no, I just didn't check it. And she turned me off. And I ended up, I still got where we're going. It was still the same amount of miles. But I ended up going through, it looked like these mountains up and down. Not big mountains, like something you might find in the Ozarks. Yeah, steep mountains. It was only an 18% grade on one of them. And it was foggy. And I could have really been pissed off. I really could have been.
You called her a bitch in the box.
I did not. I said the bee in the box. Bzzz,
yeah,
bee.
Yeah, right.
But when I first turned off on there, I'm like, this does not feel right. Like the second I did it, I'm like, Tom, this doesn't feel right. What's going on here? Get up. He's like, no, your miles are good. Just keep going. And he's like,
you know where to turn around, so.
Yeah, and there was nowhere to turn around because it was the beginning of a turnpike. And he's like, just keep going. The miles are still the same. You'll get there. No big deal. So if anyone is familiar with Highway 40 as it runs through Maryland, right along the border, not far from 68, which is where the GPS should have taken me.
First of all, to be fair, okay, a GPS, if it's 1 mile shorter, it'll send you that route. Okay.
Right. And I should have checked like I always do, and I did.
It's like I've told 1,000 people in my lifetime. You gotta be smarter than the GPS. And to be fair, when she started driving, I said, just follow 70. That's all you gotta do. Just take it straight to where we're going. Just follow 70.
Yeah, but the road split, and neither one of the splits was marked 70. So I went right. I should have gone left. I really usually don't get flustered in situations like that. Tom's like, maybe there's a reason. Maybe you could have been in an accident. I'm the one saying that. And he's like, as soon as I turned off, he's like, it's fine. Keep going. There's probably just a reason. And the reason is I found a great place to go back on vacation because it is a beautiful area, even at night. It was really dark, but we were going through all these little bitty New England, I guess mid-Atlantic towns. They're not New England towns.
Probably Amish.
Yes, and there was a lot of Amish stuff, yes. And I'm like, I would love just to come back here and vacation. Stay in a bed and breakfast. So that was the purpose, I guess. But I could have got really mad. But I will tell you about an incident where Tom got mad at me. We laugh at it.
But I didn't think she'd do it. And she did.
We laugh at it, and then I'm going to go on and I'm going to explain how the anger was the teacher in the situation and what the real issue was. And it actually is very related to what we're all going through right now. So that's why the story. So he had to fly out. And it was a last minute trip that he had to go pick a truck up or something like that for someone.
Going to Lubbock, Texas.
Okay. And he's like, will you go home and print out my boarding pass? And I said, well, I don't need to print out your boarding pass. He's like, this was a while back. At least, 5 years ago?
Oh, it's been
6?
longer than that.
Might have been 10 even.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Time passes when you're in a pandemic. But anyway,
How about time passes when you just get older?
well, yeah, that too. So I'm like, well, I don't have to print your boarding pass out. Now, I asked you to print my boarding pass out. How hard is that? Why can't you just do it? You never do anything for me. You never help me out when I need you. Blah, 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 blah. He just laid on me. And I'm like, you don't need to print your boarding passes anymore. And he kept laying on me, yelling at me, how I never help and I don't listen and everything else that I do wrong under the sun. And I'm like, they have these things called mobile boarding passes now. And he just wouldn't let it go. And what was it that you told me? We were on our way to have dinner at our favorite Mexican restaurant, and this is what he told me.
I forgot.
I think you said, fine. If you don't like it, what was it?
No, I don't know. I told her I was going to go pick my own damn boarding pass, and I left you.
Yeah, no, we were getting ready to go in the restaurant, and I was not going to eat with him because he was being very mean to me. And he says, well, if you don't like it, you can just go home. And I said, I will. And I proceeded to go home on
4 miles.
foot.
4 miles in the rain, walking home.
Yep, I'm like, I will. And I decided that it was better to walk 4 miles home in the rain than it was to sit and listen to him go off about something that actually really didn't have anything to do with me. So, what was the lesson? Okay, this is
Michelle,
what it
here's
was.
the lesson.
What?
Always carry an umbrella.
Well, that too. I didn't have an umbrella. I do have to say, he only let me get about a mile, and he came and he picked me up. He said, get in. But anyway, we've had 2 fights in 17 years. That's one of them that I can remember. But what was anger really teaching us? What it was is Tom was faced with something new. Just like we've all been faced with something new this last 18 months. More than one thing new. It's new thing after new thing after new thing. And I was just the person that he vented that on. Because he didn't know or understand what a mobile boarding pass was. He didn't know what I was talking about. He had no idea. Now with COVID, we all use mobile boarding passes. But this is way back. And it was something new. He was already stressed. He didn't want to learn something else. He didn't want to do something else new because he was focused on what he had to do at the time. So, when you are angry, anger is always your teacher. Anger is not always bad, and we can't avoid anger. I mean, we're human beings. There's no way we can avoid anger. I have a time that this is the last time I remember myself getting angry, and it was probably maybe around 10 years ago as well. I don't know, but I will tell you what happened. I was working with a patient, and this patient, through my medical intuition, I could tell certainly had something going on, and I kind of suspected what it was. And the patient did have symptoms consistent with it, and they needed to be in the hospital, not at home, because they were going to end up in worse shape at home. They were going to end up falling and hurting themselves, or something was going to happen. So our protocol, when I was doing the home health care, was you call the doctor and you let them know what's going on. Okay. So I did that. And the doctor wouldn't listen to me. the doctor kind of like brushed me off. And I'm sitting here thinking, this person's in really bad shape. And I got furious at the doctor. I didn't yell, I didn't scream at that time, because I am pretty good at holding all that stuff in and keeping up, quote, appearances. So I got off the phone and I looked at the patient's wife and I said, you need to call 911. I am sure that this is what's going on with your husband. And if he doesn't get care immediately, it could be life-threatening. That's what it was. It was a life-threatening condition. I remember what it was now. It just like popped in my mind when I was talking about it. And so she did do that. Thank God. Because lo and behold, what I had expected was confirmed when the patient got to the hospital. And they may not have made it another day had they not gone. But what happened is, after that visit, I got in my car and I was furious. And I was yelling in the car on my way home, not paying attention. I got a speeding ticket because I was really mad. And I was yelling and just kind of yelling to the air. And the more I yelled, the faster I drove. Now, I was not on an interstate. I think that was for a 40 and a 35 or something like that.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't?
No.
It wasn't.
It was like 55 and a 40.
Oh, 55 and a
But
40.
I took care of the ticket, I know.
Well, yeah, I know. You helped me take care of that. But I got home and I opened the door up. My neighbor, really good friend of mine, she lived across the street. She was taking her dog out, so she was in the front yard. I come home and I slammed that door and I was still yelling. She's like, are you okay? And I just went off. Not on her, but about this doctor to her.
Normally, they would say, what did Tom do?
And I just went off and she just like backed up. You know, I have some French in my heritage. I am French by heritage. Well, French and Scottish. Whew, that's crazy. And so it takes a lot to push me to that point because I'm really calm and centered and focused. But when I get to that point, I explode. And she's like, wow. And the whole neighborhood could hear me yelling. Well, come to find out, and I don't think I told this to Tom. First off, the patient got the care he needed. So that was good. That was what was bothering me. Second off, what I learned from the anger is that there's always another way to handle a situation, and not to take the brushing off personally, because come to find out, that particular doctor actually ended up in trouble. It's the easiest way to say it.
Not over that.
Not over that, no. But that particular doctor did have a big issue that was going on. So I was probably just another one of the straws and another one of the things that doctor did not want to deal with. But anger taught me, don't take it personally.
I want to hit pause.
Oh, I might want to hit pause.
Yeah, we're going to be going through a tunnel.
We're going to go through a tunnel. So I'm going to pause
In a
and
minute.
then I'll catch you on the other side. Okay? All right. Just kidding. We're out of the tunnel.
You know, I really don't know where she gets her sense of humor from. I just shake my head and roll my eyes.
Okay, so we were talking about anger as a teacher. I'm going to talk about another time that I got really angry and I was a child. I got so mad because I felt that my mother had unjustly accused me, and she stood me in the corner. Yes, I grew up when they used to stand you in the corner. Put your nose in the corner. Did you ever have to stand with your nose in the corner?
Oh, yeah, sit there and stand and think about it. Think about what you've done. I'm like, if I'd have done it a different way, I wouldn't have got caught.
So I was thinking, and I looked over on the bookcase, and I saw 2 crayons. One was blue, and one was green. And I'm like, I'm so mad at her, I'm going to color on this wall. And I did. I scribbled all over that wall. Well, That didn't work out too good for me.
'Cause back then we still got our butts busted. So we're all normal. We had no bicycle helmets. We got spanked, and we're almost normal.
But anyway, I just had to share that story. Just a childhood story. I was too young to know what anger was teaching. Anger was teaching me, don't color on the walls. That's what it was teaching me. So anger is a teacher. So when you're angry, I always hate to say this because Tom always makes fun of it, but go inside of yourself when you're angry. Reflect inside. Some people call it a gut check. Okay? Do an emotion check. Do it what?
You do realize, can you imagine living with her? Just kind of point that out, okay? Just because I'm like,
It's always something new.
but if I ever get mad at something, she's like, are you really mad at that or are you mad at this? I'm like,
But that's what you have to ask yourself, Tom.
I
That's
didn't have to ask myself anything.
well, no, that's my point is when someone gets mad, ask yourself, what am I mad at? Really? Like, what am I really mad at? And most of us lash out at our friends and our family the easiest because they're the easiest to lash out. We know they're still going to hang around even after we yell at them. Okay? But go and check your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, and your spiritual body. Remember, I always talk about those 4 different bodies. And see where is that anger originating from. Tom's was because he didn't want to deal with the change. And that's where we're all at right now. We don't want to deal with this. We don't want to, for the rest of our lives, have to refer back to remember before COVID and after COVID. But we will be doing that. That's just a fact. So if you have a lot of pent-up anger, you can use a lot of different ways to get rid of it that are constructive. You know, punching bags that are not people is a good thing. Sometimes vigorous exercise is good. Journaling about it, that's another way. I like journaling because with journaling, you start seeing what you're thinking and it helps you get to the bottom of why you're actually mad. Why am I mad? Why am I angry? Why did those 2 people punch each other out in the Emporium over a Disney souvenir? I doubt it was because they couldn't stand each other.
It was the last one,
Well,
and it was made in China.
no, it wasn't the last one. It was just, I think that everyone has a lot of pent-up anger this year. So we need to find some constructive outlets for it. We need to deal with it. Don't push it down, because if you push it down, it will not stay there.
It gurgles back up.
That's right. It gurgles back up, and it will come up at the time you least expect it. And then you might be in a bigger pickle, a bigger mess.
Oh, here you go. Here's a prime example. At home, I think it was last year, about this time last year, somebody got mad and had a road rage incident. And
okay. This is in the news.
yeah, it was in the news.
Okay.
Had a road rage incident. The guy stopped. He punched an elderly gentleman in the face and killed him. Dead. Now, the guy that was all pissed off because somebody cut him off,
Which he was probably just pissed off about all the changes and all the crap we're going through.
is now in prison because he made a bad choice because he was mad.
Right. So, if you're going to be angry at anyone, be angry at yourself. Go and look and ask yourself, if you can't identify what's making you angry, I use a real simple solution. The first thing I do is, what is one thing I could remove from this situation which would make me feel 100% better?
Me?
Not you. No. That always works for me. I have when I start getting really stressed and a little bit angry, I have a pain that develops back between my shoulder blades, and it can get debilitating. Have you noticed I haven't had that in like 10 years, Tom? Because I did a body check on that to see what that was.
Oh, I thought because I was so freaking wonderful.
No. And what it was is it had a lot to do with what I was anticipating and desiring, and it's not meeting up what. So I did some internal work and some wellness work to get over that. And I haven't had that anymore. But if I ever even feel a hint of it coming back, because no matter if you know it or not, that anger, if you don't release it constructively and process it constructively, it will settle in your body somewhere, in an organ, or who knows. It will settle in a body part. Well, a body part is an organ. Well, not really. It's a cumulative group of organs, but it will settle in your body no matter how much you want to try to ignore it. You can't ignore it. If you haven't processed it, it will stay with you. Auntie Anne's is at this plaza, and I gave up gluten. But I'm feeling better. I just saw an Auntie Anne's sign. We just went by. I loved Auntie Anne's. But I have been gluten-free now for 2 months. Maybe even 3. 2.
And make my life a living hell.
No.
If I want pizza, I can't have pizza.
Yes, he can have pizza. We just have to get it from a place that also has another pizza that with a gluten-free crust. So let's not over-exaggerate, my love.
Angry.
You're getting angry? So when you are angry, process it out. Don't take it out on someone else. Process it out. Physical activity. Go outside and scream at the top of your lungs if you're in a place you can do that.
Well,
I wouldn't advise that in Central Park in New York, but
You'd wind up in the loony
if
bin.
you're able to do that, go do that. Use a journal. Go tear up sheets of paper. Do something constructive. But in addition to that
It pissed
release,
me off when you told me I had to clean it up.
you have to process what you're really mad about. And sometimes you just have to take that break and take a deep breath and say, what's the one thing that would make me feel 100% better, other than like $1 million?
That doesn't make it better.
No,
either.
that doesn't make it better.
Winning the lottery don't make it better
You
either.
just end up getting people coming out of the woodwork who want to borrow. So it's not about money anyway. But what you want to do is ask yourself, maybe it's your job. Maybe it's a person at your job. Maybe it's how a situation was handled. I'm going to transfer this into jobs right now because a lot of us are really trying to find our true callings. And sometimes that might have to do with your occupation and your job, and sometimes it might not. I'm a truck driver right now, but that's not my true calling, okay?
It is now.
My true calling is to educate people and raise people's vibrations. And that gets very complicated. But that's what I
The
do.
Beach
I'm a
Boys did
healer.
that one time.
Yes, the Beach Boys did that.
Yeah,
Good
well,
vibrations.
good vibrations.
Yeah.
That's like the sun-kissed orange soda song.
I had a friend that danced for the Beach Boys once. But anyway, so my sole purpose is to bring people up from where they are. So say you're at level, 6. I'm going to help give you the information, lead you in healing so that you can get to 7. Of course, you have to want to get there, right? So I don't go around helping where it's not wanted. That's a waste of time because everyone's exactly where they need to be for a specific reason. Okay? So that's my purpose for being here. I'm a healer and I raise people up. I don't know how many people when I was in home health were like, were you a cheerleader in high school? And I'm like, well, of course I was. What made you think that? And they're like, it's just, you're always positive. You're always uplifting. You're always looking at the other side of the story and stuff. I'm like, well, it's kind of what I'm here for. So what you're here for, it can't be like divided out. It'll be part of you. I truly think Tom is here for a lot of reasons, and he is a little different when it comes to the trucking. The trucking is his calling. I've told you many times before, laugh if you want, he is one with the truck and trailer, I swear. He is so talented with it, I just cannot even describe it. Like back in the 70s when the drivers were highly skilled and they weren't like me driving an automatic. But he's probably got another sole purpose, but I think that might be tied into it a little bit. So you can express the reason you're here, your sole purpose, no matter what you're doing. You can be rich, you can be poor, you can be Asian, you can be Caucasian, you can be African American, you can be a rock, you could be a dog. Well, they're not listening, the rocks and the dogs. So that's kind of...
No, he's sleeping.
Although I can talk to the plants. The plants and I have, and the earth, we have good conversations.
Once again, I shake my head and roll my eyes.
So, just remember, everything is the way it is for a reason. But what you need to know about it is, why am I mad and why am I angry? What's the one thing I could change about this situation that would make me feel better, and what does that tell me? So the next thing I do is my all-time favorite 2 questions in the whole world. Do you know what that is, Tom?
What's my action and what's my purpose?
Okay, close. You've been listening. You're close. What is my role? And what is my action?
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of all the same, okay? My role. What is my role in this? Am I supposed to say something? Am I supposed to not?
Myself.
You like cinnamon rolls?
Yeah.
You like the roll of cinnamon roll?
I like more like a Cinnabon.
Oh,
Yeah.
a Cinnabon.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up another one of my favorites that is packed full of gluten. If anyone is out there and has a wonderful baked good recipe that is gluten-free, please send it to mariahsmessage@gmail.com. I will forever be thankful, and I will mention you on the podcast as having an excellent gluten-free baked good, yummy tasting, it has to taste yummy, recipe. Okay? So, part 1, you ask yourself, what if there's one thing I could change about this situation and take away, what would it be? Then you ask yourself, after you've identified that, what is my role? What is my action? Yeah, we were going through, and Tom, Mr. Truckman, he's over here. Look at that big dump truck. Woo! Now there's a bigger dump truck. And they were humongous. They're about the size of a house. They're big dump trucks. So when you've identified what is making you angry, identify and ask yourself, what's my role? Am I a leader? Am I a follower? Do I change something? Do I walk away? Am I an example? Am I here for a greater purpose? Am I part of a movement? Whatever. It's just,
Okay.
roles can go on and on
So
and
I
on
can-
and
I
on
can
and
ask
on.
you this.
Oh,
Okay.
is this clean? Yes.
Of course.
Well, when you said movement, I didn't know if you were thinking about the bathroom.
No. But now that you did
Okay.
No.
Okay.
The most of the reason why people are mad are because they're just unhappy. They're just unhappy with everything. And there's only one way to get over that, and you're the only one that can change it.
That's right. We're the only ones.
If you hate your job, don't take it out on everybody else. Go get a different job.
Right.
You know,
or your living situation.
Well, change it, because nobody can fix it but you.
And you know, that is it in a nutshell. Plain and simple. You have 100% control over your life. You're the one who picked this life. You're the one who's creating this life. Create the life you want. I didn't say it was going to be easy, and Tom didn't say it was going to be easy. But if you need help, ask the angels for help. Ask them to send you a support system. Okay? So what is your role? What is making you angry? Let's say you're unhappy with your job. What's your role? My role is disgruntled employee. Okay? What's your action? That's what Tom's talking about. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Not what is someone going to do about it. Not is someone other than you going to give you more money. Not is someone other than you going to switch your job. Not someone over here is going to do this for me. No, you. Y-O-U. We have spent so many years blaming others. It's all in your hands. You create the life that you have. So look at that anger, find out what the issue is, then ask the big questions. What is my role? What is my action? And let that guide you from there. I know a lot of people are like, well, I can't do that. And it's not easy.
Can't means won't.
Well, what'd you say, Tom?
Can't means won't.
Can't means won't. That is true. That is true. I have been in some difficult situations in my life. At one point in my life, I was separating from my first husband, and I was very concerned about my personal safety. So I went into hiding for some time. That was not easy, but I could not stay in an unhealthy relationship, especially because I had a child. I was not going to raise my child in an unhealthy relationship where my child would be learning the wrong way to have a strong relationship. I didn't want that to happen. So it was very hard. It was after my spinal cord injury and my child was a baby. And I'm like, okay, I need to leave this relationship because it's sucking me dry. So I did. It was really hard to do it. I left my house. I left the majority of my things. I left my dog. It was hard, but it was probably the best thing I've ever done because it allowed me to use my energy to create the life that I wanted. Instead of, I was an empath, I was living with an energy vampire, and that wasn't working for me. It was working great for the energy vampire because they don't have to create their own energy. I'll just use yours. But it wasn't working for me because I constantly felt depressed and drained. So as soon as I stepped out of that, I could not tell you the relief that I felt. So if you are having a situation that you need to step away from, if you don't know how, just ask those angels. I love the angels. They're awesome. They're there to help us. That's their purpose. Ask them. Always thank when you ask because they feed on your gratitude. Ask the angels to come in and see if they can show you or just to come in and change this. Now, let's say you have an anger that you've worked on for a while and you just can't get rid of it. Well, it's possible that could be from a past life. So you can ask angels to help you release that anger. Or some people want to learn about it and they might come to me and get a reading because they want to know what in their past life is resulting in this anger. I have some really interesting readings that I can share. I don't want to share too many readings at a time because I want to mix the content up. We are adding guest speakers this season. Yay! Hooray! So we're going to be having guest speakers on some of our shows. We're also going to add Patreon. We're going to be adding Patreon, and I'm going to do some extra content directly myself on Patreon that you'll have access to. More than likely, I will do readings on a lot of different things going on worldwide. or a lot of things going on health-wise, maybe one reading on Alzheimer's, maybe another on heart disease, see what commonalities there are so people can listen to those for healing. But there'll be other exclusive content too. It's going to take me a little while to get it going. I'm about halfway done with it. I don't know when I'll have it published. So just keep that in the back of your mind. You can also talk to me directly now on the Wisdom app. It's WISDOM. I'm a certified mentor on Wisdom, Michelle Woodruff. You can look me up at m.wood on the Wisdom app. And it is an app that when I have a subject, I think my first subject's going to be, what is it like to be an empath? And then I go online and we can talk through the app about your experiences or answer your questions. So I was guided in meditation to start more of a two-way talk situation and to have guests and to do the Patreon all at once to advance the podcast. So I'm working on those little by little, but the Wisdom app is up and going now. So follow me on Wisdom. Okay. I think that is enough for today. We do want to thank everyone. I think sometimes I get so involved in my subject matter, I forget to thank you. And it's you who's really, really making this spread and really making the podcast popular. If you have an episode that you really like or you think someone might benefit from, it's very easy to share. You can copy the link with the little dots, copy the link, and then just paste it in a text and send it to someone's phone. Or you can hit the square with the arrow on it and text the episode directly to someone's phone. So please feel free to share with friends, family, or anyone that you think could benefit from it. You can contact me by email through mariahsmessage@gmail.com. That's MORIAHSMESSAGE@gmail.com. I also have my reading page on Facebook is entitled Enlightened Universal Messages. You can like my page, follow me on Enlightened Universal Messages, and if you are overseas, you can contact me that way too. Well, of course, you can use the email, but you can also use the instant messenger on. Are you okay over there? Tom's over there getting all choked up over this episode. Am I going to have to do the Heimlich? No? Okay. Just got that tickle. It's allergy season. When is it not allergy season? We have allergy season 100% of the year where we live.
All right, sorry.
He's better now. So I gave you my email address. I gave you my wisdom at m.wood.
You gave him your wisdom.
Well, it's my Wisdom app address. And they can follow me on there. You can just type in Michelle Woodruff. I'm the one that says retired physical therapist assistant and spiritual communicator. That's me. There's one more way they can contact us. I forgot what it was. Gmail, Facebook, on the website. That's it. truckingthroughlife.com. We have a contact form on there. If you have some content or if you have an interesting story you would like to share, some insight or feedback, please go ahead and type that in and send it to us. Also, like us, thumbs up, and do a review on us. We would love that. All right. That should do it for today. Thank you for listening today. And until next time,
Never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly.
Bye-bye.